Right then, Exiles. Well, I'm joined by Ben Natman, host of the Codcast, Fleetwood Town podcast. How you doing, Ben?
Yeah, I'm very well, Ed. There. Thank you for having me on, buddy.
Um, Pleasure. Thank you. The pleasure is all ours. So let's get straight into it then. Fleetwood against County this weekend. I had a look back in my notebook, and yeah, Fleetwood won 2-0 in the game back in December at Rodney Parade. And I described it in my notes as, quote, an abject game where, as usual, County looked okay for spells, but then conceded and let in a second while still reeling from the first, with the result basically confirmed by half time, which feels like quite a familiar tale this season. Did Fleetwood fans see that game as anything other than a routine win?
It was one of those types of games that you go in that are very dangerous. That if you lose it, then it's really bad. You shouldn't be losing, and anything other than a win is not really acceptable, and that's dangerous. Fleetwood have done that far too many times and not won games of football. It almost felt for the first half an hour it was very much Newport on top. They had good chances. They certainly had the better of it. I think Garner had to come off in like early because he got injured, formerly of Fleetwood. And then literally Fleetwood maybe had a 5 or 10 minute spell, scored. I think Finley Potter scored a header, and then Graham goes for about 90 seconds later and makes it 2-0. So yeah, then second half, Fleetwood didn't really go for the kill. They could have gone for three, four, five. When I think was it Spellman got sent off now Chesterfield, I think, got
Yeah,
sent
yeah,
off, and
yeah.
it should have really been more and be one of those types of wins if we were playing for something at this moment in time. Goal difference could have been a factor there. So yeah, then after that, Fleetwood had their issues for 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, yeah, it was a bit of a weird game, but I was happy
Well,
to
let's.
win
I
it.
mean, let's come on to those issues because I think after that game you were somewhere in the dizzy heights of about 11th, and then it
Mm.
started to unravel, and you sacked Pete Wild in late January after a poor run. You still haven't appointed a permanent replacement. What sort of manager do you think you need right now?
It's difficult because we beat Gillingham the game after, and it was back-to-back wins. It took Fleetwood ninth, but at ninth within, I think it was like 4 points off fourth and two off the playoffs. So it was really, really close. And then it happens. You go through these bumps across the season, and almost I think we lost the next five. I think we lost seven. I think in all comps with two cup games. And yeah, it was difficult, really difficult. And the style of football was never there. They didn't look well coached. They were kind of just going on vibes, and that's it really. Ryan Graydon got sold, top goal scorer. 4 or 5 injuries to first team players. Unfortunately, you do that in League One or League Two, smaller budget especially. You're left with younger players, make mistakes, and every game that we lost in that run was by the odd goal in the league, certainly. So it was difficult. Pete Wild gets sacked. I was in a camp that felt it was harsh, and I still do think it's harsh that he got sacked. And I was gutted when he got sacked, I'll be honest with you. And Matt Lawler's come in, who's interim till the end of the season. I will be very surprised if Matt Lawler isn't the Fleetwood Town manager next season. I think that if he got appointed now, I don't think anyone would complain. 6 games, the football has improved, the style of play has improved. It's a bit more pretty, on the eye, but is it over the long term? Can it be gritty to get results? That's all I'll say. A
That
lot of
that
young
sounds like a
players.
very familiar argument to have
Yeah,
with, yeah.
um, it's it's just about grinding out results, and unfortunately, in League Two, that's what you've got to do. And I think Fleetwood just want a coach that can coach just the living daylights out of players, and Matt Lawler will do that.
Yeah. And I suppose, in some ways, it's a nice position to be in where you're mid-table, you're 14th at the moment, you can appoint an interim manager till the end of the season and just kind of
Mm.
give yourself time to assess the squad and the interim and then decide what you do next. But I mean, is there any frustration that you haven't made a quick permanent appointment and tried to chase the playoffs, or do you think actually realistically a bit of mid-table consolidation is where you need to be right now?
I don't really think the playoffs were ever on from the start of the season, to be honest. Looking back, the performances I thought Fleetwood were better off points wise than performances showed. And I think now, if you look at it, I would say it's just about fair now. I think it's evened itself out, which it does, I think everything evens itself out over a 10.5 month season, including pre season. I was frustrated at the time that Pete Wild got sacked because I just thought, well, 20 games to go. We're not going on, we're not going down. Let's see if he can do anything. Give him a year. What's the harm? But unfortunately, I don't think they ever wanted Pete Wild to be the manager. And I think they thought it's a good opportunity to give Matt Lawler a chance till the end of the year. And I think things behind the scenes have turned. You could tell from it, from someone that works, in the media and the commentary. You see the managers after, and from a novice going in there, I kind of expected it. 2 or 3 weeks before it happened, and was still gutted when it did. But you can just you have signs, don't you, when you speak to them or you listen to interviews. Fans aren't daft, and you can probably see right through it. So yeah, it was difficult. But yeah, I'm more frustrated. There's nothing to play for. I know. Sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for, but
Yeah, I was going to say
um,
14th from where I'm sitting looks great. So
I
yeah,
know exactly, but I think it's great. But I think you want to be in games that
yeah,
you go to football and it matters.
yeah.
Those wins matter. Those losses ruin your weekends. Those points you're reflecting on. I just want to go back to the football and have something to play for and be excited in April or May.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I mean, let's look ahead to Saturday then. What do you think is the biggest threat that you'll pose to Newport? And equally, what's your kind of biggest weakness that we should be trying to exploit?
Ooh, where do I start with weaknesses? I think going forward, Ethan Ennis is a real threat. On loan from Manchester United,
Mm.
he can play left or right. He's great going forward. I think Ched Evans is a player that everyone will know a lot about. He can just make it stick, flick the ball on. I think that they're the two I'll be looking out for. Mark Helm's another one, running from midfield. He likes to get into little gaps and create opportunities. And Fleetwood Town do create opportunities, they just don't take them, unfortunately. At the back, they can be very open and they can be a bit naive. And if you put it on Fleetwood, they do struggle a little bit. So I would say go long, go direct, go into the channels, ask a few questions, and just be a League Two side.
I mean, I'm trying not to laugh because going long and going direct, I think, is something that county fans would like to see us try a little bit more, and a bit less of what you were saying earlier,
Mm.
the tippy tappy stuff. But we shall see. We have shown recently at Salford that we can mix it up. So maybe that's our best chance on Saturday. But we shall see. I'm going to push you for a score prediction as well, Ben. What's going to happen?
I'm going to go for Fleetwood Town 2, Newport nil for the third time in a row. I think that'll be 4 clean sheets in succession against Newport, won't it? Over the last 2 years. And Fleetwood are the only team in the EFL that have yet to keep a clean sheet at home
Wow.
this season in the league. So even Sheffield Wednesday, they kept one against Blackburn. Barnsley only kept two in their league. They kept one this season against Luton at home. So yeah, I was going through it the other day trying to find another one, but I couldn't quite find it.
Well, there we go. There's a stat for you listeners. Can Newport manage to get a goal on Saturday? Let's hope so. Ben, thank you very much for your time. And I'm saying this to a lot of people. Hopefully we will catch up with you again next season.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it.